Pantry, and today we're going to do a little canning. And so I have roasted off my tomato soup, and I had done this recipe for you before, but I wasn't able to can it up. We ate all of it. So this time, we're not going to eat it. I'm just going to can it. So I've got my roasted veggies, which is 2 onions, 2 whole bulbs of garlic that I cut the tops off. I sliced the onions a little less than a ½ an inch thick, and then had a sheet pan, and I have an extra large oven size sheet pan, full sheet pan full of tomatoes, garlic, and onion. Olive oil, salt and pepper, that's it. In the oven, 425, until they have just become fragrant and sweet and roasted perfectly. The whole thing off the parchment paper into the pan. And I add a quart of broth. So I've got a mixture of chicken broth and roasted garlic, better than bouillon. Both of them are better than bouillon. And in here, and so I'm gonna can up, small batch canning, 4 quarts of this soup, because it is my grandson's absolute favorite. He asks for it every time he comes over. So as soon as this heats up enough and I can get the immersion blender in there, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll bring you over and I'll start filling jars and give you a close-up. Okay guys, so I am ready. I've got hot water with a little bit of vinegar, a couple tablespoons of vinegar in here in this bowl. My soup is ready. I've got hot jars in the canner. I just looked up my altitude, and I am 232 feet above sea level, where I used to be 4,500 feet above sea level. And so that changes the pressure that I'm going to use on my canner. So I'm going to fill the jars. It's perfect. I added a little bit of Italian seasoning, and it's absolutely delicious. You can taste the roasted vegetables. It's wonderful. You can add half and half to this when you open the jar if you want a cream of tomato, but we like it just the way it is. You want an inch of headspace. Whenever I'm pressure canning, that's the rule of thumb. So let's get another jar out. And these have been in the hot water. They're on the stove in the canner that also has vinegar in that water. So we're gonna, whoops, don't drop anything. Bring this over here a little closer. And I don't need to debubble because it's a liquid, but I am going to wipe the rim, and I've got a pretty dirty jar there. Wipe the rim all the way around, and we're going to put a lid. And I always soak my lids, even though they say you don't have to now. Fingertip tight, in the canner it goes. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. It's just going to be wonderful to have this on the shelf again. And on to the next jar. So, as soon as I get them all in the canner, I'm going to put the lid on, and you're going to do the lug nuts across from each other, or the wing nuts, whatever you'd like to call them. When it starts venting a steady stream of steam, I'll time that for 10 minutes, and then we're going to let it come up to pressure. When it gets to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're going to cook this off for 30 minutes. All right. And that's for quarts. It would be 25 minutes for pints. All right, we'll be back. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a steady stream of steam coming up. So I'm going to set my, let's see, we'll set my timer. I don't think I have a timer up there. So we'll set my timer at 10. Start. No. That's clear. Oh, there we go. 10. So when the timer is off, then I'll put my weight on, 10 pounds of pressure, and this will go, like I said, for 30 minutes. It made 4 quarts plus 1.5 pint jar. This is a 1.5 pint jar. So it would have made almost 5 quarts, but that's okay. It's going to be delicious. So I'm going to take this over and surprise my grandson for his snack after school today, and because this should be done by then. And yeah, so steady stream of steam that's hot, so be careful. You want to make sure it's away from your microwave. And unlike my other house, I have plenty of clearance between here and there. The other house, like the big canner, I couldn't open my microwave once I set it in place. But this one I'll still be able to use the microwave. I just wanted to make sure that the steam was away from this. I don't want to ruin any appliances or cabinets. So anyway, all right, yay, canning, the first canning session in the new kitchen. You guys, thumbs up right now. Okay guys, so I have taken the regulator, the weight off of the canner. I've opened up the thumb screws and I'm venting the canner. I just propped the lid up on itself so it has a way to vent some of that steam out of there and just to acclimate what's in the canner a little bit better. Tomatoes typically lose something, and soup, I have found when I can this soup, that's exactly what happens. So I do see that I've got a little bit of headspace loss, but it's gonna be good no matter what. And I don't want to get that tomatoey stuff on my towel. So I am going to put some paper toweling down to absorb the tomato, because these are new towels. I don't want to mess them up. So that way it can absorb any tomato that's on any product that's on the jar. Don't tip your jars, because these are still not sealed. And oh, it's beautiful. So we have a little less than an inch of headspace, but that's all right. It's all good. So, oof, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. It's just gorgeous. Tomato soup goodness. And 4 jars to go on the shelf. Literally, that's, for me, that's 2 meals per jar, and that's easy to go through. I know so many of you have asked why or when I was going to start canning again, and I used to do such large batch canning, but I knew I could rotate through it in 3 years. I'm trying diligently to rotate through what I have put back already, and I don't want to put too much on the shelf. Number one, because I can't get through it, but number two, the next time I get tomatoes on sale, I'm going to be able to make this again, and I'm going to be able to can again, because I absolutely love the experience. I have missed it so very much, and so I'm glad that you guys came along for this. I hope that this inspires you. If you're not a canner, or if you haven't gotten your All-American out yet, go ahead and get that canner out. It's such a great thing to have as far as knowledge and a skill that you never know when you might need it. So I hope it inspires you. I hope that you try the tomato soup. It's on my channel, and I'll try to remember to leave a link, and you can go watch that, or I'll leave a link at the end of the video. That's what I'll do. I'll leave a link to that video, and you guys can go see how easy it is to make this soup, and it's so delicious. I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna wanna make it over and over again, just like I did. So, all right guys, we'll see you next time for another delicious recipe canning session. What do you wanna see me can next? Because now I'm in the mood. I'm just saying, I've got a bunch of empty jars. I'm still trying to sell a bunch of jars. So let's fill some jars. You want to? Okay.